What's back? What's back? Computer science. It's really hot out today. Thought it was starting to get cold out. It's hot now. But, oh, I didn't realize I still had this. I went to a little career fair after my computer science class. It was pretty lame, not gonna lie. Not much interesting. So today, computer science, we went over lecture 5, which is mostly arithmetic, some Python expression, a math module, random module. So what I learned, every division is going to end up with a floating point. Every division is going to end up with a floating point number. Floor division, however, can end up with an integer integer if it's two integers that are the operands. If it's mixed mode, then it's going to be a floating point. That's arithmetic. Python expression, so the one space before and after most operation symbols, compound operations. So we learned that, a compound operation for addition is plus equals, but equal plus actually is not a syntax error. That will return, like, if you said x equal plus 10, well, then it's just going to return x equals 10, because that plus is a positive in that scenario. It's a positive 10. For x plus 10, that actually is a valid statement, but it's not going to assign the value to x. It's just going to output x plus 10. Okay. I think all of the math module functions return floating point numbers. At least the power function does, but I think all of them do. Exponents, if you take the typical arithmetic, double star sign, double asterisks, and double asterisks. If you have two integers, it's going to be an integer output or returned. We didn't really get to random numbers. The math module is also known as the math library, it sounds like, and modulus. So modulus can come in handy when you're trying to find modulus can be used to find whether a number is a factor of another number or a multiple, and it can also be used to determine if a number is even or odd. So that's everything for today's lecture. I'll be back later for a little bit to cut that reflection of orange. Weird. On, off, on, off. Yeah, I'll be back later to do some more of lecture 6, which is about formatting outputs. Is that right? I don't know. What were we doing yesterday? Unicode, so representing text. All right, that's it for today, or for now. I'll talk to you later today. Welcome back to computer science. Okay, big picture overview of yesterday was random module, right? And the end of math module. Range, that's gonna do, I think it's integer unless you put a floating point in. You can do min max, you can just do max. You got rand int, just a little bit different, where it's both are inclusive. The max is inclusive, whereas rand range is exclusive. Random is a function that's pseudo random. All the random numbers are pseudo random, depending on the seed, which is dependent on the time, but you can set the seed, which will set the same random number sequence every time. So I think that's basically most of the big picture stuff. No. We're in random function is 0 to 1, inclusive for 0, exclusive for 1. We started lecture 6, which is Unicode. Okay, or it's not Unicode, it's representing text so we're talking about 6.1 representing text. We're talking about Unicode. These decimal representations, these code something, there's terms for them, but it's basically the number associated to each character, right? Decimal encoding and code point. Escape sequences have a decimal encoding / code point. Raw strings, those will not print escape sequences. They will print literally the characters within the string. That's a raw string. You use it lowercase r before the string literal. Ord and chr, and ord. Ord will return the decimal encoding for a character. Chr will return a character for a given decimal encoding. All right. Now I'm going to jump back in, continue learning, and then I'll be back to recall at the end of the day. All right, we finished 6.1 representing text. There was something there. There was a note I made about it, but it's, I'm blanking on it. We started 6.2, which is called styled guidelines. So style guidelines may differ from organization to organization, but it's important to keep consistent with it within an organization so that others can easily read and understand each other's code. And so just for what this book represents, or uses, I should say, for styled guidelines is, we just read about the white space ones, but then there's another section on naming and miscellaneous, which we'll get to. But for white space, each statement's on its own line. Blank, like empty lines, can be used, but only really to separate conceptually different sections of the code. Typically, there's one space between most things within a statement, and between a parent and like a child statement, there's 4 spaces to indent, not using tab. So a little bit of work on escape sequences at the end of that 6.1. So if you can basically use the opposite quotation mark within a string literal and output it without using a backslash or a raw string. So say if you had double quotes to encapsulate the string literal, you could use single quotes within the quotation within the string. And opposite, if you use single quotes to denote the string literal, then you could use double quotes just by themselves, and they will act like they'll print normally, or they'll print literally, or raw, like the raw string essentially out, at least for the quote marks. So that's it for today. Talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.